You all are about to hear the story of Garrett Gravesen, a 7-continent storyteller often found in a tuxedo. He is a true player for real, if I may use that term. Just take a look at his Instagram account, GG Worldwide. He is on fire. He's an amazing human, an amazing leader, doing everything from starting organizations that help children with AIDS to leading teams at major companies like Chick-fil-A, all while being, if I may say, fabulous. So check it out. Garrett Gravesen on Connect.
Joining us this morning, Titania Jordan.
Tatiana Jordan. Did I get the name right?
Titania.
Titania. Okay. All right.
It's Titania Jordan. Where are you from? It's like Mars, baby.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do this.
All right.
Welcome to Connect. Today, I've got Garrett Gravesen here, and he's gonna blow your mind, so welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Titania.
I'm just so excited. Like, it's been a long time coming, and now you're finally in our presence, and like, you've got a book coming out.
Yes.
And I can't wait to read it.
Yes.
Tell us what the name of the book is.
Yeah, so it's called 10 Seconds of Insane Courage. And it's kind of how to unlock your courage to unleash your potential. And so it's interesting when you start doing research on courage, what you really come to find is that a lot of things that prevent us from courage are all the fears that we have.
Right.
And so when you study like famous authors, I really love Brene Brown. She's done a lot of research in this field. Even Tony Robbins around peak performance, or Tim Ferriss, or these people. And so when I started studying about courage, I realized that actually psychologists find there are 9 fears that all hold us back. I've probably experienced all of them. You've probably experienced some of them.
Owning it.
Exactly. I'm going to own it. I'm going to do it. And I said, instead of having a 30, 60, 90-day plan, how do you overcome fear in the moment?
Right.
In 10 seconds or less with a plan of attack. And so that's what this whole book's going to be about.
Yes! Yes, I'm so excited. Okay, when can I buy the book?
Yes, December 4th it's coming out. I'm super excited, and we're really pumped. I'm going to do a huge international book launch. I love traveling. My big thing is trying to go to as many places, meet as many people, experience as many things, to be able to draw that back into kind of leadership lessons to help other people that you meet or talk to kind of in my role in kind of the leadership consulting. So,
I love it. I love it. And you all might be wondering, wait, how do I know Garrett? He looks so familiar. It's because you probably do know him. He's done some really amazing things in his young life on this planet. Let's start back with, we used to run into each other at UGA.
that's right.
He was still this energetic. Like, energy has only increased, not decreased. Just an amazing positive force. And you teamed up with Ryan Gambala.
That's right.
Hey Ryan, you're awesome. Another big player now out in Silicon Valley. And what did you guys do?
Yeah, so we together had separate but interesting and unique experiences at an orphanage. I spent a year in Africa. Ryan was down in Brazil. We both came back, realized we both went to the University of Georgia, both had spent time not only at an orphanage, but an AIDS orphanage. And I'm going to be honest, I knew nothing about AIDS or Africa or orphanages or volunteering or how you could either help. But I like to say that life comes down to moments. And we don't remember like days or years or decades, but we remember the defining moments in the moment where you have a choice. And you can either kind of choose courage or comfort in those moments, right?
That's right.
And so I think 2 of them spoke to me very loudly. And it was right before graduating from the University of Georgia. I was supposed to graduate. My parents were excited I was going to do it in 4 years. Doesn't really happen these days. But instead of graduating, I intentionally did not take one class so I could intentionally have an extra summer to try something different. And in that summer, I'd never been out of the country, never had a passport, never been anywhere. Titania, if you take a globe, close your eyes, put your finger on Atlanta, Georgia, where we're at, spin it around, and your finger on the other side of the world, it's actually Hong Kong. Huh. And that's about the furthest a plane can fly. That's where I decided to go my last summer before graduating. I got a job with Merrill Lynch doing kind of finance. And what I realized was I thought that I wanted to do that, thought I wanted to end up in New York, thought that I wanted to end up on Wall Street, but I ended up working 17 hours a day, 6.5 days a week, and I watched my boss that summer miss he and his wife's anniversary and his 4-year-old daughter's birthday. And I'm not married, I don't have kids yet, but I realized in that moment, at that age, I was like, I never want to be that husband, and I certainly don't want to be that father. And so at the end of the summer, when I had a job offer to stay there or go to New York or work with his company, I said no. And I said, I just don't think that's where I need to be in life. In that moment, could you choose the comfort of having a great job or the courage to do something different? I chose the courage and called mom and dad. They thought I was excited, thought I had a job. And I said, actually, I hope you're sitting down. And they're like, oh, Lord, what have you done this time? And I said, I just turned down the job and I'm not coming back to school. And they're like, no. You have to graduate from the University of Georgia. And I said, actually, for the first time, I made a little bit of money that summer and had no time to spend it. I put it all in the bank. And I'm going to do the complete antithesis of big banking, bright lights in Hong Kong. I'm going to take a year off, and I'm going to go volunteer. And I've always wanted to go to Africa. I knew nothing about it. And I took a flight straight to Nairobi, Kenya, and spent a year volunteering at an orphanage for kids with HIV and AIDS.
Oh my gosh. Goosebumps.
And it's just one of those things that if anyone watching or listening right now is kind of has that voice that's speaking to them, I think we all do if we're honest, right? There's always something we've wanted to do or wanted to pursue or we wanted to try. And I don't think you have to make a complete life commitment to it, but I think you need to at least take those 10 seconds to say yes to whatever's speaking to you inside right now. And I got to be honest, like, one of the fear factors in the book is kind of the fear of the first step or the fear of the unknown. And I had all of those like running through my veins when I landed in 100-degree heat at an orphanage in the middle of Nairobi, Kenya. When I stepped there, I saw 80 little kids. No moms, no dads, no nothing. And your heart melts and you don't really know what you're going to do or how you're going to help. And I met one little kid. And he was 10 years old. His name was Martin. He had a big baggy orange shirt and pants that were too big for him. So his belt, he pulled the last belt loop to keep his little pants on. And they couldn't say Garrett. They couldn't pronounce my last name, Gravesen. So he just called me Gigi, my initials. And now, all these years later, all my friends call me Gigi. But as I was with him that first day and playing on the monkey bars and the swing set and the sandbox, he said something that really resonated. He goes, Gigi, everyone says they'll be back. Will you really come back and see us? And again, I didn't know if that was exactly where I was supposed to be or what I was supposed to do. But in that moment, once again, life kind of comes down to moments. Are you going to choose courage or are you going to choose comfort? You're going to walk away and do something else. You're going to have the courage to stick there and do something about it. And I did. And that's how days turned to weeks and weeks turned to months. I was at this orphanage for an entire year with my little buddy Martin. And I kind of became not just like a big brother, but almost like a father figure to these kids that didn't have much. But they may not live long lives, but they lived important ones, and I wanted to do something about it. So when I came back and realized that Ryan Gambala had a similar experience in Brazil, we said, what if we put off the corporate careers, not saying we won't ever do it one day, but why don't we take these experiences we've been given and try to create an organization for the quality of life for children with HIV and AIDS? And that became Hero for Children.
Oh, yes. We're going to need to like redirect that I do not become a ball of kerfluffle right now because you have me feeling all the feelings. So that's amazing. And on that note, you have so much energy. You are such a great, passionate speaker, and just the vibe that you put out is so cool. And you've always been that way since I've known you. I mean, even back in college, it's not like you went to some sort of underground course for like how to be awesome and like came out like, hey, look at me, I'm super stylish and personable. Like, I think you've kind of always been this way, right?
Almost. So I'll tell you a funny story, and again, in the spirit of being vulnerable, because I think, again, having the courage means overcoming fears, and overcoming fears means staring fear in the face.
Yes.
And I think if I'm being very vulnerable, it comes with a funny story from high school where I had always wanted to go to Harvard in high school. And probably a lot of nerds probably want to do that, or maybe smart people want to do that, or maybe everyone wants to, what's this deal about Harvard? And so did my girlfriend at the time. And she was really smart and super cool and an amazing flute player. And so, I had applied to Harvard and she had applied to Harvard. And she was like, oh, look over my essays and I'm more than happy to help write those or think through those or do those. And because I'm really kind of only good at like writing and speaking. And she had actually like real like far superior talents. And I was like, we're gonna be like that it couple, like Taylor Swift, so in love, 17. We're going to Harvard together. It's gonna be amazing. And so I sent in my application and she sent in hers. And then I got mine back and she got hers back. And then we got together and we were going to open it together. We were going to be like that power couple going to Harvard. And she gets in and I don't. And then she breaks up with me. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. I was like, seriously?
Like, I helped you get into Harvard.
And I'm like, listen, she probably would have gotten to Harvard without my help, but breaking up with me did not help. It like set me on a road of like, all right, you know what? I may never be a great flute player. I don't even know how to do musical instruments. I may never ace the SAT, MCAT, LSAT, GMAT, GRE, but I may never like be a top science prize winner, engineer, technologist. But I'm going to be the best version of me. And I want you to be the best version of you. And I was like, I'm going to have this energy about me that whoever I come into contact with, help that person become the best version of themselves. Whatever that is. I was like, I'm not going to hide behind like a big personality or a big smile or like over enthusiastic. And it doesn't always like rub well with people. But I was like, it's just who I am. And I was like, and she was just who she was and embodied the full version of her. And she got into an amazing place like Harvard where amazing people that lean into their strengths go. And I said, screw this. One day I'm going to Harvard. Like, I'm going to get there one day for grad school, maybe Harvard gardening school, Harvard, like, build, glass cups, architecture school. I don't know, like, whatever the easiest version is, I'm going to get there one day. But until that day, I'm going to be the best version of me. And I hope that everyone listening right now, they very much get inspired by your show, and hopefully a few of these words resonate. But I hope, again, that whatever that still small voice is, whoever you really are at the end of the day, when you look yourself in the mirror, I hope you just become a more fuller version of that, because it can work. And I think Brene Brown, we both love her as an author. She just came out with a new book. I think it's like Braving the Wilderness. It talks about we all in society try to transform into people who we think want us to be.
Yes.
But when we change our personality and we try to become someone else, they're not getting the authentic version of who we really are. So they're not really liking who we really are.
Yeah.
And it's like, what if you had those 10 seconds of insane courage to face your fears and try it? To put yourself out there, to write that first blog if you've always wanted to be a writer, to like go to that first country if you want to send in your passport, to try that first idea if you want to, speak up to your boss because you have something worthwhile. And be the true version of yourself. And so that's what I just want people to lean into. And the big personality came from getting my heart completely broken from trying to go to Harvard one day.
But you went to Harvard.
So long story short, if you wrap it all around, 4 GMATs later, 3 applications to Harvard, afterwards, I actually ended up getting accepted and got to go to Harvard Business School and do their executive education program all around leadership development, which was super exciting, really funny because it kind of ties the bow on it. But I took that same spirit and energy that I'm kind of a kid from the South, probably should maybe never end up in a place like that. But I got to know each and every single one of my classmates and all the people on campus and all the professors, not because I'm trying to get a fancy job at a firm on Wall Street, and those are great jobs. But I was like, I know who I was. I was like, I love leadership and service. I love, writing and speaking. I love trying to help inspire people to be the best versions of themselves. And I was just all of that in a bag of chips up at Harvard. And it was funny because when it came time to select a graduation speaker at Harvard Business School, I got chosen to be the speaker as well. And this is what I would love. First of all, great honor, right? And like super smart people and sons and daughters of kings and queens and presidents and prime ministers. And I'm like, I run a company that helps Chick-fil-A sell chicken and do leadership and writing a book about courage because I had all kinds of fears. And I've been to Antarctica in a tuxedo with penguins. So let's just bear with who you pick to be your graduation speaker. And I was like, what I'm not going to do, Titania, is I'm not going to try to sound smart for the sake of sounding smart. I'm not going to try to talk about business and financial modeling and regression analysis because that's just not me. I was like, I'm going to stand there on stage on graduation day at Harvard Business School in front of my classmates in my program, and I'm going to talk about what I think truly matters. And so if you'll indulge with me for a second, I'll just give you the 2-minute clip. But I am probably the only speaker at Harvard Business School to ever start out a graduation speech with "Once upon a time," because that's where I was going to go. And I literally said, once upon a time, there was a teacher who gave a test. It was just like every other test, except for the very last question. All the students kind of got the last question at the exact same time. And the last question simply said this: what is the name of the lady who cleans our classroom? And not one student could answer it.
Wow.
Not one.
Wow.
And one of the students actually raised his hand and asked the professor, hey, is this last question actually going to count towards our grade? And the professor said, I need you to put down all your paper and pens right now. There's an important lesson to be learned. He said, absolutely, it's going to count. Because every person deserves your time and attention, and the least you can do is get to know their name and who they are. And I paused on stage at Harvard Business School's graduation, and I said, for us, his name's Vladimir. I go, he cleans the blackboards here at HBS. He's a cool guy with a great sense of humor. I go, his name's Kenny. He restocks the refrigerators. He's been doing it here at Harvard for more than 25 years. I said, her name's May. She works in the kitchen. And if you're really, really nice to her, she'll give you extra Honey Nut Cheerios in the morning. Trust me, I know. I go, Vladimir's story's important, Kenny's story's important, and May's story's important. And your story's important. But never let the fact that you go to a fancy school like this become so great that you miss out on all the people in life that make life grand. I go, because every person has a name, every name has a story, and every story matters.
Gosh! Like, Garrett, most people that come on the show at some point in our time together give me goosebumps in my arms. They are everywhere, like all over. Like, I am, are you crying right now? Like, I think our camera, our executive producer's like a mess. Like, you're amazing. You're amazing. Now, you didn't answer the question of what can we do for you and how can we help you?
Oh, well, so I co-founded a company called ADDO, and ADDO is a leadership organization, and we do leadership from cradle to career. So if you're a school teacher out there in elementary school and you're looking for a character education program, we have an awesome one. It's called The Voyage. We have cool little characters that are animated, and they teach character lessons every single week, and we have piloted it here in Georgia. And if you're looking for inspiration around that, you know, we do that. If you're in high school and you want a high school kind of leadership principles program, we have partnered with Chick-fil-A, and we now run Chick-fil-A's largest servant leadership program. It's called Chick-fil-A Leader Academy. We have 21,000 students across America and 36 states that are going through that. Once a month, lessons on leadership like teamwork, vision and values, servant leadership, innovation, and kind of paying it forward. And then if you're a corporate business and you're looking for ways to really increase productivity around teams, we come in and have some programs. We work with the Atlanta Braves. We have college programs. We work with the University of Georgia. And again, we work a lot with Chick-fil-A as our big client because they fundamentally believe in the idea of servant leadership, and that's kind of what we're about. That's on the ADDO side of life. I have always had one dream in life. You'll love this.
Okay.
It started out as a disaster. 8 years old, I got 2 Christmas presents. I got a globe and a 26-set volume of Encyclopedia Britannicas. I came down on Christmas morning, 8 years old, crying, and my mom felt so bad that she had to blame it on Santa Claus. It was that much of a disaster. That was my 8-year-old Christmas. I'm still haunted to today. The good thing is, not because my mom knew this, was I would take my little globe at 8 years old after school and I'd spin it around, probably where the idea came from, point at a place because I had nothing else to do. Promise I was a normal child. And wherever it landed, I would look that country up in the encyclopedia. And I would learn about it, learn the capitals and the countries, and it became this game. And later I was a rambunctious child. Obviously you could probably imagine that. Class clown. That probably, I think I was in elementary school, my teacher was like, we gotta have a parent-teacher conference. This kid's a mess. You need to do something about your child. My mom had this crazy idea. She's like, well, I don't know if there's anything there, but he's learned all these capitals of all these countries all around the world. She's like, great, because he's the most crazy during spelling tests. He can spell a refrigerator in about 6 seconds, and the other 2 minutes, he's standing on his desk not paying attention. So they came up with this plan where, like, flip your paper over, and for every country and capital that you can name, we'll give you 1 extra credit point. 196 countries in the world. My goal is to try to ace the spelling test and get 196 points of extra credit. Because it doesn't matter when you're in 5th grade what you get on a spelling test. It just kept me quiet, and I didn't mess up any of the other kids. Well, it was a dream ever since then to go to all 196 countries. And most people say they want to travel, and I love the Bucket List family on Instagram. If you haven't checked out their Instagram, check it out. But I have set a goal when I come out with this book that launches December 4th. I've been to all 7 continents. Super exciting, and I have 120 countries to go.
Wow.
So the big goal is to try to visit 50 countries in 2018, 50 in 2019, and 20 in 2020. There's only been 22 people alive that have ever been to every single country. So 7 billion people on Earth, 22 alive. I'd love to become the 23rd. Not because it's cool to visit every country, which is cool, but I always loved the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Yes.
And what I would love to do, say yes, be a yes man, say yes, say it right now and do something about it. My goal is to find one person per country to help them say yes. To take those 10 seconds of insane courage, get it on video and share it. Help them overcome their fears. One person per country on this journey. And so GarrettGravesen.com, you can follow along the journey, GG Worldwide on Instagram. But if you want to reach out or direct message or send me an email, the journey starts in Africa. We're going from Kenya to Cape Town. We're going in March of next year, and I'd love, if you have inspirational people doing inspirational work, I'd love to capture and share their stories as part of this journey and help them say yes to anything that's holding them back.
Yes, I'm saying yes to Garrett.
Yes.
I'm saying yes to everything that you're doing, and I'm saying yes to all of you out there watching who will rally and support Garrett, because you're awesome, and I am so honored to know you and so thankful that you came on the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and thank you, Titania.